Hey there, my Tyler Perry Sistas fans. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about Season 5, Episode 3, No Stress. Well, it seemed like people was getting a lot of stress in this episode. I don't think it was none. I think it was a lot of stress, but I gotta tell y'all, I'm so sorry for putting this up late, but I had so many doctor's appointments this week. I was really overwhelmed and needed rest. So I'm putting this up late, but at least I'm putting it up. I love you guys, so I'm not going to let you down. It's kind of long because there was a lot going on in this episode. It was a lot. So let me hurry up and get started. So it starts with Danny. She says she sees White Andy. She showed up at the penthouse and she's like, caught them in the middle of getting it on. Let's get it on. Yeah, so she said, now I know why you can't let go of Gary, basically talking about his penis size. I said, oh, she like, he Nigerian, right? She's so crazy. So Danny was going to sit on the couch, but then changed her mind because they were having sex there. She sat on a table instead. She's so silly. Then Danny started teasing Andy about her sexcapades, and Danny says she's staying and Gary has to leave. And Andy was like, no, he's not. And then Danny had to remind her about Sabrina and that she still hadn't heard from her. So she's like, oh, shoot, that's right. So then Calvin goes to the Proud Bar and he asks Chris, has he seen Maurice? And that's when Calvin learns that Maurice is in jail and that Q flipped on him and then gave him up. Of course, gossipy Chris told all of that, but I'm still trying to wonder, how did Chris know all this? Does anybody know? If you know how Chris found out, please put it down in the comment section. I'd love to know how. So then Calvin acted like he's so tough, and we all know. So Andy tells Gary that he has to go because something is going on with Sabrina, and they in the bathroom behind closed doors. And I don't remember seeing a door on there. Maybe yes, we did. We did see it on the penthouse. Anyway, he said, okay, but can we finish it tonight or tomorrow? And she's like, you've given me enough tonight to hold me over for a while. He stopped. And he was disappointed, but still sort of inquired, will she be calling him? And she was like, oh, stop, meaning Robin. And she's giggling, saying, oh, please, would you stop? I'm sorry, I keep acting out Andy, but it was cracking me up. Then Calvin gets home and is yelling Q's name, and Calvin tries to act tough with Q, and he bangs on Maurice's bedroom door, telling him to get his ass out here now. And then he walks in after Q was said, I'm busy. He went in anyway and found Q in bed with a woman. Not even in bed, in Maurice's bed with a woman. And Calvin asked to speak with him and started swearing, cussing and all this. And Q finally comes out of the bedroom and Calvin starts with, now look. And Q said, hold up. First of all, you going to take that tone out of your voice. I said, excuse you? Who you, somebody daddy or something? Q bugging himself out. That's what he doing. So Calvin is like, did you set up Maurice? And Q said, no, why would I do that? Why would I send him to jail? No one said anything about Maurice being in jail, so he was busted. And of course, Calvin is threatening to kick his ass, and he's the first one to put his hands on someone when he's always loses because he can't fight. He's always the first one. So they get into a big fight, and Chris does nothing to help, of course. That's what he's talking about. He gonna go. Don't sleep on me. I used to play football, but meanwhile, you sitting there screaming, like a girl. So Calvin was actually on top for a minute until they rolled over and Q got on top and started punching him in his face about 7 to 8 times until finally Chris pulled Q off. And Q, I gotta say, Q got a lot of nerves and balls for what he's doing. But Sabrina warned Maurice, and now he's got her mixed up in this stupidness due to his desire for some good D. It's like, come on, this is so crazy. But what's funny is that Calvin, once again, got his butt beat, and he's still talking smack when he gets up saying to Q, if I find out that you had anything to do with Maurice being in jail, I'm going to F you up. I said, oh, Lord. And Q said, I ain't going nowhere because I got a warm bed and a warm biatch, and we ain't leaving. I said, oh, see, Then Chris suggests, what we gonna do? We gonna call the police? And Calvin's like, see, that's that white-ish y'all be doing. And Chris said, don't you have two white dads? I was like, right, hello. So Calvin said, I want to handle this ish. I'm like, yeah, okay. So then we have Gary. He leaves the penthouse and Danny says to Andy, you really don't care about your friends, do you? And she said, yes, I do. And then she asked, well, have you called Karen? And she said, I'm calling her tomorrow. And she said, what about Sabrina? She's in jail. Andy doesn't think that Sabrina is in jail, but Danny's still thinking it is because of what Logan told her. So anyway, she says she called her contacts and they haven't heard anything. But then when she checks her cell, because Danny told her to check and see if they call back, she realizes her contact has called her. But she was too busy with Gary, you see? What about your friends? Oh, I forgot how those words go. Never mind. She calls back the lady or whoever it is and leaves a message. So when she get in touch with the lady, they learn that Sabrina is in jail and it's a federal crime. And Danny wants to get her out, but unfortunately, there's nothing they can do. She hasn't seen the judge yet. Danny is pissed, saying, "What the hell are you?" to Andy. "What the hell are you?" Andy said, "I'm a divorce lawyer, and this is criminal, not alone federal, So Danny wants to call Logan, but Andy's like, no. Took her cell phone because they don't know what he has on Sabrina and it may incriminate her even more. So Andy tells her to go to bed and get some sleep and offered her to stay overnight with her. And Danny said, hell no, with semen covered walls all up in here. I said, oh God. Like, that's so nasty. Danny was saying a lot of little cute, funny things, but I was like, I can't put all this in the video. Then once again, Danny mentions that Sabrina don't know nothing about no jail. And, Andy agreed with her and then threw in a dig saying, Danny, you could probably handle yourself, but Sabrina, absolutely not. She said, not to mention, you've almost been close to jail, actually. And I said, oh, no. And Danny just rolling her eyes up in her head. And then Andy says, she's worried and that she's going to try to figure this out. So Danny leaves, and now it's morning. Fatima and Zach are talking. She's trying to go work out. This the morning after Karen called and cussed her out. But as Fatima always do, get mad at Zach about it. And I'm like, it wasn't Zach's fault. He told you not to answer the freaking phone, but you just had to answer it. So now Zach wants to talk to her about what happened the night before, and Fatima's not interested in discussing it at the moment because she said her intention is to try to have a good day. So Zach lets her know that he did go to see Karen last night and doesn't want to hear anything about it anymore, because Fatima's choosing not to discuss it. So when Fatima mentions being raised by her grandmother and that she has a cousin who is a ruthless biatch, y'all, who wanted Fatima to go down the same path as her, but Fatima decided not to go down that same path as her family. She's giving Zach this whole speech and all this stuff, and she says she doesn't want any drama like that. She just wants peace in her life. And, that's why she does her meditations and her prayers and everything in the morning. So Fatima wouldn't tell Zach, what her cousin really wanted to do to Hayden. And he was like, damn, why did you stop that? You should have let him. She said, let me just say I spared his ass. So Zach asks, who is this woman? And he'd like to meet her because he got a few people he want to get effed up. so Fatima said she gonna let Zach meet her. And then she added, I know that's gonna be Madam. It's gonna be her cousin, gonna be Madam, from all the Queen's men. And then she added that the ish her family has done makes what his family done look like child's play. I said, oh, okay. We about to hear about this side of Fatima's family, I guess. So then she leaves for the gym with Zach, saying he'll meet her there, Then Danny gets a call from Calvin. She's disguising her voice because she doesn't recognize the number. I was like, I do stuff like that too. I really do. I know some of y'all out there do it. How many of y'all out there disguise your voice? Anyway, then he tells her that Maurice is in jail because the guy he allowed to stay there set him up. And I wanted to know, why did Calvin tell Danny that he's got $20,000 saved up that they can use to get Sabrina out? Because I never heard anyone tell Calvin that Sabrina was actually in jail, did we? I know that Danny said she heard from that guy, Logan, that they were looking at them or something like that, but nobody ever told him that. Anyway, then their call gets interrupted by a call from Preston, which now Danny could have let go to voicemail, but she chose to switch over. And somebody put down in the comment section why y'all think she just decided to switch over. Because I think she really likes Preston. And you saw how she tried to get herself together before she talked to him. All of that stuff. So anyway, so she talks to Preston. He wants to meet for dinner. And he's already left town, but will fly back in. He got money if she'll meet him. And he just wants to talk to her because she never answered him about whether or not she was over him. So she says, I don't have time for this ish. We already talked about it. And I can't do this right now because I have a problem I'm dealing with. And he said, is there anything I can help with? And she said, no, but he got money, so he might be able to help with that. And she said, no, he can't help her. And basically hung up on him while he was still talking to her. I said, damn, Daddy, you just hang up on a brother like that? What's wrong with you? So, like I said, now it's morning. Miss Lisa and Karen are sitting at the table talking, and she tells her mama that she had a dream that Zach came by, and Miss Lisa lets her know that Zach did stop by, and she wouldn't let him see her. And she said, oh, that's good. But Miss Lisa was like, I don't think you really meant that. She could read her daughter's face. Then she said she just wants to let him go and be over him, and for Zach to do right by her baby. And Lisa's asking, are you sure the baby is his? And Karen had to admit she didn't know. So then Miss Lisa asked about the accountant preacher. I don't know why she keep calling him an accountant. Preacher, did they mention that in one of the earlier seasons? I don't know. But anyway, she said, well, let's talk about the accountant preacher who can't drink but can have sex. And doesn't the Bible say something about that? And Karen said, yes, Mom, it does. Then Karen tells her basically that Aaron is an amazing man who is sweet and loving. But Lisa added, you love Zach, right? And she didn't want to say anything really. And then they have a little mother and daughter moment some more as they discuss their lives. And then Miss Lisa asks, can she offer Karen some advice? And Karen says, please. And she asked Karen if she could be calm enough to have both men together in her home so that she can talk to them. She suggested that Karen write a letter to each of them stating exactly how she feels and what's going on with her. And Karen says she's already told them, but Lisa's like, no, you haven't. She says if you write it down and read it to them, then you'll be concise and you won't forget anything, to say something. You know how, she's right about that, because a lot of times you have things in your mind to say to people, and after you say it and think you're done, you realize you done forgot something. Like I did today at the doctor's appointment. I should have wrote it down, my questions, because I left thinking I would remember and I forgot to ask something important. So now I'm waiting for the doctor to call me back. You know what I mean? So anyway, so she said, because if you read it down, it'll be right in front of you and then they'll understand. And maybe this will help her move forward. Then we have Danny. She arrives to Andy's apartment. She updates her about all she found out regarding Sabrina being charged, but still hasn't seen the judge, and no one can go to see her. And she said she made about 100 calls, Andy said, and she has one more person she could call, her boss Robin, but he's in London in court. So Danny repeats that, Sabrina is not made for jail. She asks Danny, how did this happen? And she tells her what she learned from Calvin about Q. And Andy then shares that apparently they have Maurice on tape confessing to the crime. And she also repeats to Danny, do not call that cop. And then they leave for work. Then Deja, oh Lord, shows up at the gym. This is how it ends. She shows up at the gym while Zach and Fatima working out, talking about, hey, neighbors, and touching Zach, sort of massaging his collarbone, saying he's such a good landlord. And with Fatima right there, she is a mess. But Fatima is right there. And at the same time, she's saying something is wrong with the toilet leaking. So Fatima saw that and stepped to Deja real quick. And Zach jumped up to stop her from killing the girl. And Fatima told her, let me find out you breaking Ish so that he can come over and fix it. And Deja was like, that's so tacky. I would never do that. Fatima said, oh, we both, what did she say? Something about we'll both be there. Her and Zach will be there. She's like, okay, girl, fine. I'll fire up the hookah then. She's a mess. First she talked about rolling weed, but oh no, you can't. You work at a corporate job, so you can't smoke no weed. I'll fire up the hookah. I said, oh God. she's a mess. How does she even know what she does? How does she know she has a corporate job? You know, who's talking about what? Anyway, I was saying maybe it was Nathan telling her business. So then Fatima wants to know why Deja is at the gym. She asks Zach. Zach's like, I don't know. And told him this is not going to end well. And Zach said, I know, because you thug. You got thug in you. And then Aaron shows up at the gym. And oh God, both of their eyes are rolling. And saying, you know, he's glad he ran into him because he was going to ask Gary for his number. Zach said, no, you don't need my number. We ain't talking about nothing on the phone. Then he said he wanted to talk to Zach in private about Karen, and Zach said, you can say whatever in front of this girl, in front of my girl. But again, it's Fatima who says what's going on with Karen. It must be important. Zach didn't want to hear it. Zach didn't want to deal with it. But Fatima initiated it. And then what happened? They talking about he thought it would be great. Here, check out Aaron. I thought it would be great if you and I, we do our best to not stress her out. And Zach said, I'm not stressing her out. She's stressing herself out. Coming to my house, calling me, calling my girl, and Fatima nodding her head. And Zach said, did she send you here? Did she send you here? And he was like, nah. So he said, Zach, we play ball together. Zach said, no, we don't. We don't play no ball together. We don't do nothing. We just happen to be on the same court at the same time. You know, he was like, we ain't together. So Aaron leaves, and Fatima gets mad again at Zach. And I'm sitting there going, what did Zach do? Zach's like, what did I do? And she's asking him again in the middle of the gym. Really? This is not the time or place, Fatima. When did you get so reckless that you doing stuff in the open in front of people? Take that mess home. You know, come on. Y'all live together. Go to work. Have a good day. You said you wanted to have a good day, but then you just started drama in the gym with your man. And she's with are you still, I'm going to ask you this again, are you still in love with Karen? Zach said, no. Do you want to be with her? Zach said, no. But he said, I have love for Karen, and you know that. And she wants to know, why does he get so hostile? And he said, maybe because I don't meditate and pray like you do in the morning. I thought that was funny. I was like, yeah. So then Fatima claims that when she sees her exes, they get nothing, no feeling or emotion from her. I said, we all know better than that, honey, because she was up there crying when she saw him, and she was angry when she saw Ian. Come on. So he says, that's not what I remember from when we ran into old boy at the park. And she said, that's besides the point. I'm like, girl, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's the same thing. So Fatima proceeds to fuss at Zach to the point of almost berating him in the middle of the gym. And Zach is like, what are we doing? Are we doing this here at the gym? He said, I just want to work out. She said, oh, no, you didn't. And he's like, are you still in love with her? She's asking him, and he basically has to defend himself. And then Zach gets upset and like, look, Karen, by accident, he called her Karen, and she got real mad. I said, ooh. But she was doing to him what Karen usually does to him. And I can honestly understand why and see how he slipped up and did that. Because Fatima was basically fussing at him that same way that Karen did. Why couldn't she just wait until they got home? So it ended like that. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. It was a lot going on. Sorry the video's so long, but that's how it happened. It's your girl Barbie J saying peace.